Hi, Riptide readers. This is Andrea Hall, team leader from Texas, and I wanted to talk to you for a little bit today about what are you afraid of, and hopefully give you some tips on getting out of your shell and talking to people. Um, I've had some social anxiety for pretty much as long as I can remember. Even phone calls strike terror in me, and I remember when I was about 12. My dad told us that we are gonna have pizza for supper that night. Yay, pizza! And then he just had the worst moment of my life, and he gave me the phone and said, "Here, you call it in." And I panicked and I bawled for about 5 minutes before I finally took the phone and just went ahead and made the call. And obviously, the person I talked to on the other end was the pizza expert, and she takes orders all day and all night, and everything was fine, and nothing bad happened. I don't know what I was afraid of. In addition to having a little bit of social anxiety, I'm also a huge introvert, and I do best with no more than about one or two people at a time. 4 or 5 people is a crowd to me, and it's an overwhelming crowd, and I don't know where to go or who to talk to, and usually in a very large group, people have already started to divide up into their own little conversations, and so I tend to just stay off to the side and just watch everybody else having their fun. But then even when I am included in a group, I tend not to talk a lot. Maybe I don't feel like what I'm going to say is worth much, or maybe it won't contribute to the conversation, or maybe I'm in a group with a bunch of people who do like to talk and I couldn't get a word in edgewise even if I tried. But none of that is really true. Those are all just fears that just paralyze me and keep me from trying to talk. And when I do talk a little bit, none of those bad things happen. They're just in my head. So the first tip I have for overcoming your fear of talking to people is to remember that you are the expert. Remember my pizza phone call and how the person on the other end of the phone was an expert in pizza? Well, guess what? You are the expert in these books and this company. You know your favorites, you know what the books have done for your family, and you know about all the programs we offer that are beyond just, here, buy this book from me. We're still a young company, and people don't know what we can do for them. But we are growing, and we're growing fast, and if you don't tell them, then somebody else down the street is going to. And so you need to talk to people while you have a chance. And the second tip I want to share is that practice makes better. Usually people will say practice makes perfect, but I know that there are some of you out there, and I'm raising my hand with this too, who are hesitant to do anything new or strange until you're sure you can get it right the first time, every time. And that just doesn't work in this business. If we wait for perfection, then we're just going to end up waiting forever, and nothing will happen, and we'll just go and fall down and not pick ourselves up. But we will fall, but then we do pick ourselves back up, and we keep going, and we get better, and we fall less as time goes on. Let's see, where was I? One of my needs more practice moments was when I was on campus, because I'm a college student, and I passed a table where a college organization was doing a bake sale. And I had been carrying around flyers for Cards for a Cause in my backpack, and just for an opportunity like this. And so I pulled them out and I approached them and I gave them the flyer and I started to talk to them, and I was trying to be excited, but she had just this look on her face like, what are you doing at my table, and why are you doing this to me? And she ended up telling me, you need to get away from my table and stop dropping hairs in the food. Yeah, that really happened. And I was so uncomfortable and so nervous, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough, and she probably threw my flyer away before I was even around the corner. But the point is that I got out there and I talked to somebody. And the next time I did it, it was easier. And I had another opportunity a couple of weeks later when I had gone to a jazz ensemble concert on campus, and the director said that they were going to need some help with going to Italy. The jazz ensemble was going to go to Italy, and the way he said help, it was obvious that they were needing fundraising help. And so I was like, ding ding, Cards for a Cause again. So I waited until I happened to see his office door open, because his office was right next to one of my classes, and I brought my flyer in, introduced myself, and I was a lot calmer and a lot smoother. And it helped that he was a lot more receptive too, which most people out there are going to be. It's going to be rare that you'll find somebody who is just hugely antagonistic towards you, that they don't even want to talk to you at all. But he listened, and he said it sounded interesting, and he'd think about it. But the sad thing was I was too late, because 2 weeks later the trip to Italy was finalized, and and there wouldn't have been any time to do a Cards for Cause anyway. But again, I got out there and I did it. I talked to somebody. Let's see. The last tip I want to share with you is to always be ready for an opening to talk about Usborne. I have yet to do a home party. I have one later this month coming up, and I'm excited about that. But I have done a few booths, and people overwhelmingly love our books when they see them in person. So I try to keep a book or two with me at all times and use it as a conversation starter, just to, say one or two quick words about the book to a stranger. And it's also helpful that I also have my kids with me, and they have their books, and they are not introverts. They will talk to anybody, and they're always begging to bring their books to this place or that place or to the store or whatever. And so I'm walking down the store with my grocery cart, and the kids are walking down with their books, and they're reading in the aisles, and strangers notice, and they say, "Oh wow, your kids love to read," and then, "Oh, there's my opening," and I can just mention it a little bit and put a bug in their ear, maybe get their information. Haven't gotten quite that far yet, but I'm working on it. I'm still a work in progress, and I keep practicing. I'm going to keep getting better. My heart still does pound a little bit when I try to initiate conversations with a stranger about this, but I'm slowly but surely getting a little better at it. I just need to remember tip number 1, that I am the expert on this. Nobody knows about Usborne when I talk about it, very rarely, and so they're very excited to hear about it, and I just need to keep going. And one thing that I do is hostess phone calls. That's already an opening because they've already agreed to host a party, and it is those dreaded phone calls, but it's helpful when I'm on the calling end rather than receiving a random phone call from a stranger. And I just call them up, and it's really nice to hear their voice and hear what they like about Usborne and why they wanted to host a party too, and get to know them a little better. And sometimes maybe in the phone call I'll hear a few tips about how I can coach them better, but that might be another training for another time. And you don't have to be perfect to talk to people. You just have to practice a little bit and be yourself, an excited and awesome Usborne consultant who knows her stuff and wants everyone else to know it too. I hope you found these tips helpful as you continue to grow your business. And now I have to go get on to some kids for laughing at me during the video. Thank you. Bye-bye.